Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your host of the Mint Tea podcast, Wyatt Graves. Today's conversation is with a good friend of mine, Jon Brooks. He's an indie broker from Jacksonville, Florida. And I wanted to have a conversation about the success that his agents are having by being at his brokerage under the model that he is running. I have mirrored mine at Kaizen Home Sales to look like his. We're having a tremendous amount of success as well. And in today's episode, I highlight one of those success stories. So with that, let's get right to my conversation with Jon Brooks. Jon, what's up, man? I'm so glad to have you on the podcast today.
Yeah, Wyatt, good to see you.
You too, man. Look, for the listeners today, like I've been watching you, we're both in GoBundance.
Yeah.
You stepped out in faith sooner than I did and became an independent broker. And so you've been inspiring me for a couple of years now, and I've been trying to follow your model and keep up with what you're doing. And it's inspired me to kind of get creative on our side. So I'm excited to bring all of what you're doing in your area to my listeners so that we can just sort of explore the future of real estate brokerages, the future of real estate agents, AI, the market, and all the creative ways that realtors are able to shake trees and stay relevant and also make money in today's market. Man, I want to start with your real estate journey. You just posted actually recently that you took your first investment house, and I don't remember the details, but you just sold it not too long ago. So like, just bring us back to like where you started and where you are now to just frame why you are, to me, so inspirational.
Yeah, I'll tell you where we are now. We have about 240 real estate agents in Jacksonville, Florida that sell more than $500 million of real estate a year. The average agent's making about $100,000, which is very different and unique versus other brokerages in our area that maybe their agent sells 1 or 2 homes a year. So we are a productive organization, but it didn't start out that way. Just, that actually wasn't our intention. So we started out as real estate agents. In 2016, I got my license because I had a crappy deal. The real estate agent on the listing side was just horrible. Didn't answer their phone, didn't respond. I actually knocked on the door and did the deal with the seller myself, and pushed through the transaction. And it encouraged me. It was like, I can do this better. I can absolutely do this better. So I quit my highly coveted real estate investment banking job. People thought I was crazy to do that. And jumped into sales full time. I had no money, $80,000 in debt, $3,000 in my bank account. And my girlfriend at the time, Brittany, she's my wife now. She was like, you got 3 months to figure this out. So I just did everything that it took. I said, look, if this is what it's going to take, if you can earn that type of money selling real estate and you work for yourself, why would I work 14 hours a day for $60,000 at another company? It doesn't make sense to me. So I went all in. I did the door knocking. I did the open houses. I did the cold calling. I did everything I possibly could. I filled tenants. And by the end of my first year, I had sold 66 homes for $12 million. I had tripled my income from my prior job. I felt great. I was on fire. My ego started getting really big, as most top producers do. And then my second year, I got smarter. I was like, I'm going to focus on good price points, and I'm going to refer out certain price points to my team. So I started focusing on that. And so I sold, it was $20 million that year. The third year, I brought my wife in. I showed her the numbers. I was like, Brittany, you got to get in on this. And she quit her investment banking job, and together we sold 143 homes. With all that money that we had made selling those homes along the way, we were buying rental properties. And then in 2019, when we had our first kid, I was teaching all the classes in my local market center. I was on stage at the mega camp events, teaching other people how to do this. And it was so expensive. What I noticed was most real estate agents were not profitable. They might have had a lot of sales, but because of the way that their business model was set up, they were doing a lot of work, but not seeing a lot of result. They were getting their ego stroked, but they really weren't having their bank account grow. And we were like, what if there's another way? Because we feel like we're the only ones who are able to get out of that rat race within a 3 to 4 year time period. How do we teach other people on how to get out of a really bad financial situation for those people who are willing to put in the work and the effort? And maybe there are people out there who don't want to put the work and the effort, but they want to know the path to get there. And we want to be able to share those paths. And we think that there's multiple paths. At our company, we have 3 different paths that we think that real estate agents can go. And basically we launched the brokerage. We had 4 agents when we started in 2020, and it just exploded. There was a line out the door because what we were teaching in the market centers was different what was being taught in the book, or frankly, by the team leaders who did not have the experience from a leadership perspective or a validity perspective in terms of actually selling themselves to teach other people how to sell at a high level. And we felt that that was wrong. And so when we just became a teaching organization. So we teach our agents, here's the way that we did it that caused so much success for ourselves. If you want to copy anything that we built, you want to collaborate with us, you want to be trained by us in a group setting or one by one, there's multiple ways to connect with us. And we can show you how we did it, and you can copy the model and modify it for yourself. You don't have to take everything. So the brokerage just grew really, really rapidly. I don't know how much you want to go into that, but from 2020 to 2025, we're the number 2 independent brokerage office in Northeast Florida. We're growing. We grew 76 agents last year. We've added a ton of ancillary businesses and support to the organization. So no matter what level of production, or if you're an investor or non-investor, we basically have resources for you to show you a way if you want to grow your business.
Love it, man. I love it. What I heard you say without saying the words, and I've been using these words a lot lately, and it's a practicing leader. Like, we have been in the trenches. We have done the creative financing for our personal investment properties. We have sold the houses. We've represented the sellers. We've represented the buyers. We are private money lenders. We are borrowing money. Like, we're doing the work that we're teaching other people how to do it, right? So it's more of a mentorship brokerage than it is a real estate sales brokerage. I love that, man.
Well, we also call it false idols, right? Because so even at these events where they would put leaders on stage, leaders in quote, they would sell maybe 2,000 homes, but behind the scenes, when you talk to them, they're broke. I mean, they have nothing and they're stressed and they're getting shingles and having all these issues. And meanwhile, we're just going on our own pace, highly leveraged with assistants and making $1 million. So we're just, we're like, you don't have to do it that big, flashy way. There's another way to do this where it's organic, it's natural. You can buy leads if you want. We have a path for that as well. But we just kind of share with you, the goal is financial freedom. I think for a lot of people who get into this, they get their real estate license because they see an income opportunity, and they want income because they want some sort of financial freedom or something else that they want to achieve, but it has a financial backing. These other models, their job is to basically suck as much fees out of you as possible through monthly fees, E&O fees, desk fees. I mean, in 36%, sometimes uncapped fees, and they fee you to death. And you don't realize by the end of it, because unfortunately, the majority of real estate agents don't do the math. Salespeople are notorious for spending every single dollar that they have. We see that happening right now in the market. It really upsets us. We're passionate about this because we see so many agents going through pain. We want to help them so that they don't have to deal with this when the market changes. They can actually see the market change as a good thing because they have the cash available. They were smart during the boom years. They stacked it away, and now they can capitalize on opportunities when they come up. That is what we're all about. So we tell our agents every step of the way what we're doing with our personal finances, how we see the market that we make, and it makes a big difference for them. They like hearing this information, and some of them do act and they get great results. I wouldn't say we're absolutely perfect, but it gives you another perspective of what somebody who's really doing this day in and day out is thinking about long-term and the variables that really move the needle. We think about profitability and lifestyle as in health, because real estate agent is a demanding job. Those are the 3 variables that we consider really important for real estate agents to be thinking about.
I want to just mention it because you and I haven't been able to talk about it since the news broke, but we don't have to go into it. But I just got an email that is circulating in another big box brokerage where the cap for the whole country is being pushed to increase, right? So it's going from a $16,000 to $18,000 cap across the country. And I don't think that that's a smart move as a brokerage, right? Like when things are the way they are today, I know that you share the same sentiment as I do, that we're actually figuring out how to make the cap go down so that we can help our agents and teach them how to be successful, what I'm going to say, entrepreneurs, right? Business owners, real estate investors alongside selling real estate and empowering them to take that money they would ordinarily spend to a broker and do something else with it that really brings profit to their bottom line. So it'll be interesting to see the reaction across the nation and in your community and mine with this news of an increasing cap.
I think there's going to be a lot of that because, frankly, these public companies have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders. So they don't care about the agents at all. You guys are just a vehicle for them to suck revenue out of and funnel it into Wall Street. I don't know if a lot of people really understand. There's a huge benefit to going local where people actually care about you versus just being another number in a machine through a revenue model that literally is just siphoning the money and sending it to Wall Street. Wall Street's going to try to take as much out of your pocket as humanly possible, as they always do. And I'm not saying that some of those companies do a really good job in certain aspects, but they are doing that for financial reasons. That is the only reason why they're doing it. The reason why me and Brittany are different, we're already financially free. We're good. We're set. So what that means is we can actually focus on trying to find things to add value to our agents locally. And we actually reduced our cap by $4,000 recently. We had it at $16,000. Now we moved it to $12,000. We did not have to do that at all. But we know that the agents are looking for ways to save money in this type of market and to increase their production. So we're going to do everything that we can to listen to the market and give the agents the tools and the compensation model they need to succeed. And we don't charge any monthly fees or anything like that. No junk fees. It's just as easy as humanly possible to join our organization. And we're 100% brokerage. We pay 2 small fees. And, there are other 100% brokerages, but their agents don't produce. They produce 1 or 2 sales per year. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of agents are part-time. But if the agent is bad and the deals are bad and the service is bad, that is a problem. And unfortunately, that is generally the case with these other companies. They don't care about their reputation and they don't enforce their standards. That's how our organization is completely different from these other 100% or flat fee brokerages out there.
Man, I am fascinated, as you know, with this whole notion of people growing into the conversations around them. And the Jim Rohn quote that has revolutionized my life over the last 7, almost 8 years now, that you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. We just onboarded a new agent that was with a prior brokerage for 6 years. She has been wanting to be a real estate investor for a long time. And she hasn't even been with our brokerage for 2 weeks. And guess what? She found in her pipeline a triplex that sellers called to have her list. And now when she brought it to me to help her price it because it's an investment property, she didn't even know, right? Like it wasn't brought to me as, hey, can you help me buy this? She brought it to me as in, hey, can you help me price this? And I looked at it and I said, you need to buy this. This is what you want. She didn't know what she was looking at because she wasn't surrounded with somebody that has the experience to identify, right? Or to notice a great deal whenever you see it. So now we're running the numbers, and within 2 weeks of being around the conversation, around people that are investors, right? We're looking at underwriting the deal. We've got the private money to connect her with to get the deal taken down herself. We've got the contractor to rehab it, and we've got the leases and all the things to help her operate it, right? So she is looking at the opportunity to potentially gain $1,000 a month from this property that she could buy with 20% equity added to her net worth. 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks she's been with us. So the idea of getting a group of people, attracting agents that are hungry, that are motivated, that are workers, right? And then giving them the tools, the conversations from them just being around is pretty powerful. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, why? And that's just a testament to your leadership, right? You're a valid leader. When somebody comes around with opportunities, you can help them execute. These other big box brokerages and these like online companies, they don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about your wealth building. What they care about is getting you in their network and keeping you in their network so they can continue to get fees off of you. And that's why I think the indie model for a lot of agents is much better, because that person, that's a life-changing purchase. They wouldn't be able to get that that type of mentorship at another company.
Hey guys, if you've been a listener of my show for any length of time, you know that I attribute a lot of my growth to learning from the guys inside of GoBundance. If you think that GoBundance is a tribe that you might be interested in joining, then reach out to me. Go to WyattGraves.com, connect with me. I'll reach out personally with you and answer any questions about GoBundance to see if it's the right fit for you. I want to talk about some of your agents and the successes that they're having too, right? So I don't know. Well, this is what I would say before we go there. I think one of the things that you touched on, right, and you said financial freedom. How many agents are asking themselves the question, or being asked by the people in their brokerage, what is your goal by becoming a real estate agent? What does success look like for you by being a real estate agent? Is it to make just a certain amount of money every year while you're actively working to do that? Or do you want to learn how to become an investor? Do you want to learn how to create wealth for yourself and use your real estate license and the experience to build a legacy for your family? I don't think people are being asked that question. And yet I know that you're asking your agents that question, and then you've got the conversations and the tools and the experience to help them actually achieve their goals. So if you can talk to that or share some agent success stories, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we love that question. So when agents onboard, we don't make it about us and what we offer. We ask them, what are you looking for? What are your goals? What are you looking to achieve by having your license? How much are you looking to sell? How much time are you willing to put into this? And depending on that answer, we have 3 different types of paths that agents can walk down. And it's really effective to kind of show them, if because sometimes they don't know. Because they're like, I just got it. I thought it would be something good to have. It's like, okay, well, here's the 3 paths we generally see people go down. And then here's the resources that we have to back up each one of those paths. So the first one's like the new agents, which is usually 0 to 5 units. That's actually 78% of the market here in Northeast Florida is the 0 to 5 agent bucket. Then there's the 5 to 20 unit agent bucket, which is the mid market, which is about 18% of the market in Northeast Florida. And then there's 10% of the market that produces 20 plus. And each one of those has a different path of what they can do, how they can influence, what they need to be focused on, right? The 0 to 5 unit producers, they need training, they need handholding, they need to know the basics, they need to be doing the daily lead generation activities and following a schedule and probably have a layer of accountability on it. The 5 to 20 unit producers, they need leverage. And that's a really important factor. So they have to start, they're doing deals. They need to leverage out the $5 to $25 an hour jobs. They need the transaction coordinator. They need the showing agent. They need the people to help them with doing their open houses to be able to scale, because the money is in the scaling. And then the 20 plus unit producers, those are the ones that are really cool to have conversations about investing. You can have conversations with them about influencing, right? So they can become a mentor and earn money doing that. They can have revenue share. We also have a disappearing cap method. So we have a bunch of different options that agents can do at that top level as well. And we're mid to top heavy. We actually are looking for a bunch of those 0 to 5 agents right now, because we have open houses that we need to fill from these. These agents are still busy regardless of these market conditions. They're out there hustling every day. We need more leverage for these top agents. And the coolest thing is when you match a newer agent up with a top agent, it's like rocket fuel. That agent who's newer can attach themselves to this top agent, learn everything they know within a couple short months, and then go execute themselves. That's way better than sitting in a classroom reading a book from 20 years ago from somebody who's never actually done it themselves. You want to be doing the mentorship model versus just sitting in a classroom. And by the way, those classroom experiences are usually still 36% plus fees. So we think it's a better mousetrap. It's a better opportunity for agents, and they get a little bit more handholding by partnering with some of the best in the city versus just going it alone in a classroom setting, which I think their traditional model isn't really effective. We know this because our success rate on our mentorship program is about 50%, which is actually really freaking good if you understand the statistics around new agents. The new agents generally have a 10% success rate. So we have a really powerful program there where we connect, again, newer agents, 0 to 5 unit bucket with the people doing 20 plus units. And it's like magic. Like people just come in and they just take off. It's great to see.
I started a version of that right after COVID, or in the midst of COVID, I should say, with servers. So whenever the restaurants were being closed and the restaurant servers didn't have a job to go to, right? We started what I called Kaizen Kickstart, and it was an on the ground, like boots on the ground, like we're going to start doing this. And so we had 2 days of classes, which were free at the time. And then we started diving into the database and actually making the phone calls, having the conversations, helping shadow open houses simultaneously while they were getting their license. And so they weren't able to have real estate activity kind of conversations for legal purposes, but they were able to actually call our people. And because of COVID, it was a care call, right? It was a touch. It was, how are you doing? Do you need anything, right? Wyatt and his team are here for you if you have any real estate needs. And then they would get licensed and they would already have uncovered deals that were in their pipeline. So over the course of 8 weeks, they got licensed, and then they were able to take over some transactions and start having closings. We've done that 3 times, and we're getting ready to bring that back because it was fun too. Like, I like teaching and training those folks.
Yeah, what a great program, man. Thank you for pouring into people like that.
What about, tell me about some of your agents. So I want to go back and close that loop with some agent success stories. Like, you have pulled people's money together and bought properties, right? That you allowed some of your agents to invest in. Tell me about that and how some of your agents are using the private money now that you have available for those agents that want to flip houses and actually start their investment journey.
Yeah. So in 2022, when the Fed started raising rates, we started selling off our rental properties. We just saw the writing on the wall. We're like, interest rates go up, asset prices with a lot of debt go down because they've just become harder to purchase for an affordability perspective. So we sold off all of our rentals. We got that money together. I had an agent in 2024 reach out to me and say, hey, I want to buy a fix and flip. I don't have any money to do it. Can I borrow some money from you? I started asking around, and yeah, it's like an actual business. Okay, so let's do it. Let's get the paperwork together. Got the paperwork together, did one. He made a lot of money on that deal. I made pretty good money on that deal. Then he came back and said, I want to do it again. People started noticing. So people started coming to me for their private lending needs. And by the end of the year, same thing as my first year in real estate. I had 27 loans for $6.8 million in originations. It was a great business for me. I made a lot of money, and my agents made $1 million in net profit. So I help them. They bring the deal to me. I help them underwrite it. I help them think about the things that could go wrong based on the age, condition, and location of the property. And I help them do the work. I help them renegotiate their deal if it's not a great deal. And it's a tremendous value add that no other company in the city is giving to their agents. So we want every agent who walks into the door of the house to say, is this a house I should buy? Is this a house that would fit in my long-term portfolio? And if they don't have the money or the availability to cash, like we have one agent, she's 24 years old. I mean, I have $1.5 million of my private capital out with her. She's flipping 5 houses at a time, and she made a great chunk of money. She didn't have the credit score to be able to go to traditional lenders. She would not have got that from anybody else. And so she did, I think it was like 15 flips last year, which is life-changing for somebody like that. And so we're really proud of being able to provide access to capital using our private funds. We're betting on our agents. We're taking the money that we're making from the agents and giving it back to them for additional opportunities. And it makes a difference in their life. And so we're really excited about that. We're raising capital for that now, actually, because it's growing really quickly. Agents want the hand holding on the underwriting. They want the ability to call somebody if they have an issue on their fix and flip deal. And I'm their private lender too. So if they need help on something, I can step in and help them with it. So it's really transforming our agents to, when they see the opportunity, they can actually execute on it. And then we share those success stories in the group, right? Somebody who just did a flip and made 60 grand, they're going to come in and do a Zoom video of how they did it, how they found it, what the numbers look like. And, it's an education opportunity as well as an income opportunity. And those are the best ones.
Man, that's why we're friends. I love it. Passing it down to other people, right? Really just throwing that rope down and helping the next person come up. That's so awesome.
It's a win, Wyatt. I mean, I'm making money on this too. Don't get me wrong. This is a business, and
for sure,
seriously,
yeah.
But we're putting businesses in place that are needed in the marketplace, and we're not charging more than what any of these other lenders would do. We're just giving better service.
For sure. And I mean, the thing is that it empowers even the agents to go into every listing appointment and ask the question first, should I buy this house? should I buy this house, right? So whenever we're using our real estate sales license to generate leads and create a business for us that makes money, right? We get the opportunity to see if it's a great investment opportunity for somebody. Why not me? And most agents are not asking that question because they don't know how to make it them.
Yeah.
And so with getting with brokers like you or me, right, that have these opportunities for the private money, the mentorship on the investment side, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities. And it allows for us, you, me, brokers that are doing what we're doing, to not have to make money on our brokerage, right? We're able to make money in other ways so that we can attract more people. The more people we attract, the bigger our community. The bigger the community, the more the deal flow, right? And then we make money in different ways. And I just think that that is the way of the future, especially in this current economy that we're in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the way of the future too. And I don't think these big box competitors are going to be able to compete with local indies that provide this type of value. And I think they're going to start they're going to have to reduce their fees. I mean, they're feeding people to death right now. And there's other virtual companies that, again, are raising their fees. The agents don't even know about it, but they add these fees every single year to their comp plan because they don't really have to always notify you when they increase their comp. It just happens to show up on the bill and they're like, what's this? We've had that happen a couple of times and it's sad to see. So it's the opposite of what we would hope a broker would be interested in, which is helping their agents financially perform.
For sure. Let me ask you this question, and then I'm going to wrap it up with my last question that I wanted to talk about today. We offer at our brokerage this sort of like a tiered listing approach for our sellers. So it could be a fix-in list if a seller needs to do some work and it's minor and they really need to go retail market, but they don't have the ability to do the fixing up. We'll give the private loan to the seller of the home. And right, it could be up to $10,000, and then we'll get paid when we sell the house. Now, the conditions have to be right for that house, right, in terms of equity in the home and things of that nature. But it's another tool that our agents have to offer the sellers because I'll be the private lender. Well, what's awesome about that option is that we have certain agents that also have the ability to be their own private lender for that seller. And now our agents are making money on lending money to the sellers and getting the listing and being able to charge a retail rate for the listing side of the commission because of that service that they're adding. And then we are able to fix the house, go to market, get retail sale price for it, and everybody is happy, everybody wins. Y'all doing anything like that too?
I love the idea and I'm interested in learning more because we have a lot of properties in Northeast Florida that do need to be renovated. I know that there are other companies that have tried to do this, but then gotten class action lawsuits. And so we need to look at the legal. I mean, I think it's legal to do, but if something goes wrong with construction, or what if the agent says to do it and then it doesn't work? So I think there are some like risks to it, but I think it's a great value. I think you should do it. I mean, if you can find a way to do it and you're comfortable with those type of risks, or if you have the disclosures in place to protect you from the homeowner suing you for some reason, and it's like recorded as maybe like a second mortgage or note that's on the property to protect you. Right. I think it makes a lot of sense to do it. It's a huge value add for sellers. Right now in our market, we're seeing a lot of people be underwater. They've bought in the last 2 years, and Jacksonville is very different from where you are, Wyatt. So, your market might need it more than our market, but fixing them up more isn't going to solve the problem because they're underwater. So we wouldn't be comfortable extending loans to the majority of the people who are selling right now. Of course, not everybody is in that situation, but the people who bought in 2022 to 2024, they're underwater right now as prices have come down 10% and the selling costs are above 5%. They're kind of stuck in their house and trying to figure out what to do. And so the opportunity there isn't really there to lend unless there's like a lot of equity in the house that would back that lending.
Dude, that is such a, to talk about the tale of two markets. That is wild. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Florida's a unique place, right? So this is not representation of the entire.
I've got, so Chad, do you know Chad from Go Abundance, Chad Corbett?
Yeah, good guy. Yeah.
So I've got him. He's going to be the guest speaker at our sales meeting this next week. Awesome. with his process that he's teaching now on how to handle short sales. Yep. And he referenced the rise of short sales and the needs of short sales. And he really specifically cited Florida, that he sees it happening, beginning to be the thing that's needed for realtors in Florida. And so we're going to make sure that we prepare our folks to have that kind of conversation as well, to help bring solutions to sellers.
We're doing the same thing. Yeah, we have a short sale attorney coming in this month because I'm getting a call every single day saying, what do I do? They're underwater. And there's really not a lot of options when they're underwater. They can always rent it out. That's why we started a property management division to help our agents convert there and help the seller. But if otherwise, the only other option is really a short sale or maybe a sub 2. But if they're underwater, probably not going to be a good fit for sub 2 too if they bought it, 5, 6, 7% rate.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, look, dude, I want to wrap up with where do you see? I know that you are very attuned to the market and the rates and things like that. So, what's your current read on the market for the rest of this year? It's going to get worse.
You don't want to hear what I have to say. Well, I can only speak to my local market in Florida, but in Florida, it's going to become high inventory, high competition with new construction, with incentives and rate buy downs, because they have the title company and the mortgage company wrapped in. So I just think there's going to be a lot of distress and capitulation from now until the end of the year. I think rates coming down because of the turmoil in the stock market will give a little boost, but I don't think it's going to be enough because that's probably going to come with some job loss. I mean, Florida had a boom, right? Because we had the COVID relocations. We basically had the lowest interest rates we've ever seen in that. Then the investors were buying. Now the investors are not buying. The rates are not low. And there's an affordability crisis. And I think those factors are going to really cause, I believe, prices in Florida will come down another 8% this year, at least across the board. I think it's down about 10% from the peak right now. But, you never know, because the Federal Reserve could come in and just bail everything out again and put us into warp speed on that side. But even if they do, I just don't understand how prices could go higher from here, because people are tapped out. The consumer's tapped out. If people are seeing their 401ks basically become a 301k, it's like, they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars and they live on their retirement here. We don't have as much of a base as these other cities where there's like high paying jobs. These are people who are working virtual and being called return to work, return to office right now. So we're seeing a lot of actually people leave the state to go back to work in person wherever they were coming from. So I think there's a lot of dynamic shifts that are happening this year. We're keeping in touch along the way, but I think preparing yourself for short sales foreclosures and getting as much cash as possible to take advantage of the opportunities when they come up, when you see them. And, I say the word take advantage, but really you're creating win-win-win situations. The seller needs to be out of situation. You're providing cash. You're getting an investment opportunity. I mean, it's across the board. It's a really good exit, because what other exit are they going to have? I mean, they're just going to have to do a short sale negotiation with the bank. In some cases, it's better to just sell it to an investor cash and not have your credit be ruined for 7 years.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, dude, I appreciate your time today. I appreciate your insight. I love getting the emails too. So keep them all going. You're doing an awesome job and I'm inspired.
Thank you, Wyatt. Yeah. So you can either reach out to me on Instagram. It's I am Jon Brooks, JonBrooks. Or you can go to jonbrooks.substack.com and my newsletter is there and you can register there. Definitely get in touch with me if you want to connect. If you're ever in the Florida area, love to hear, what you guys are thinking about the market. I'm really interested in markets and where things are going next, and investments, just as Wyatt is. And we want to help our agents win by getting them in touch with this information and ensuring that their deals are actually good deals and they're not going to give back all the money that they earned these last few years to the market because they don't understand it or it's their first time doing it.
I love it, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Wyatt.
Hey guys, Wyatt Graves here. As you know from previous episodes of this show, I'm on a mission to grow a business that has 25,000 doors, a holding company of service-based businesses surrounded by a protective moat of a personal growth and development educational company. With that being said, I am looking for deals, I'm looking for talent, and I'm looking for capital. If you're interested in connecting with me, go to my website, wyattgraves.com. Send us a deal. I will be sure to include you in some way, shape, or form. Whether you're a real estate agent and you want to be my agent, you're welcome to be my agent if you bring the deal to me. If you're not my agent and you bring the deal to me, we will still get you paid somehow, some way. If you want to work inside of our world, then drop me a line, send me an email, connect with me. We're interested in attracting level 5 talent. And then finally, if you are an investor and want to invest your money, not only to get double-digit returns, but also to have real impact inside of the communities as we raise up the level of good life living throughout our properties with our residents, with our employees, with our communities, then I want to connect with you. Go to WyattGraves.com and fill out the contact information, and I will personally be in touch with you so that we can figure out how we can shake the trees together and win together. WyattGraves.com.